Welcome to your energy update. This is down at the springs at Dax. I'm actually probably going to move away from it because that water sound probably is very, very noisy and very complicated for my video. So I'm going to go and sit on the other side of the line. Okay, so just bear with me. As you can well see, this is the hot thermal centres of Dax. So this is where you get your water here. This is where basically there's thermal baths all over this town. It's one of the major thermal bath towns of France, really. And they've built up an entire city around the idea of healing with water, which is absolutely a fantastic idea. Especially when it's warm like that, it's amazingly hot. So, there you go. Welcome to your energy update. There is just so much been going on with the sun and the vibrations. If you haven't felt it this week, the vibrations, then you've obviously been very busy or very lucky. It hasn't been the easiest of vibrations. That's without shadow of a doubt. I'm just going to take a pew. So there's a lot going on with the sun. There was several X flares and stuff like that. There were several X flares. There was loads of M flares. Must have been in total around about maybe 10 over the past sort of like 10 days. So that's been pretty hectic. I've been trying to keep up on the posting, but obviously I've got loads of other posts to do and stuff like that. But yeah, it's quite amazing. And then that last one that came off yesterday, which was Saturday the 2nd, 3rd, losing track of days, 2nd or 3rd of April, and that was quite a big one, fat one, because that had it had a filament energy going across the sunspot, and as the sunspot got entangled and it erupted and tried to put out its arcs, it had to blow that filament energy off, and that filament energy is all to do with water, hence my thermal baths back there. So it's all to do with water. So and the other thing is, it blasted off in the way of Venus. So it's incredibly emotionally charged, and it will be with us some point tomorrow, which is Monday the 4th. You know what day it is, Monday. And so you may see a spike of emotional gestures and stuff like that, or emotional states in the coming start of this week. You may have felt it building up all week, and I likened it to the idea of taking off on the plane. It's the moment you sort of like grip the chair when you're taking off, and as you do take off, once you get the cruise mode, usually it's fine. You can sit back, have a cup of tea, and and just watch the scenery pass by the window. But it's that taking off moment, that anticipation as we move from the intermediate stage, which is filament energy, which basically we're seeing the last of, intermingled with coronal holes, which we had one come through yesterday, or some point this morning rather. So we're getting wave upon wave of energies that's coming through, and it's moving us from high octane energy to very low physical energy. So we're getting this to and fro permanently all week. And people might, you might have felt yourself having a lot of anxiety, maybe, or something like that, or being anxious for no particular reason, and being a little bit hectic at times. Sometimes not sure whether you're coming and going, that sort of thing. It is normal. You should be a little bit easier on yourself. Now, I did do a post on an X flare and the M flare that came out this week. If you want to go and have a look at it, it'll be on the channel, so go and have a look at that. I'll try and put it in the links in the description below, or somewhere around here, one or the other, so you can go and have a look at it. And there was a thing about the D layer, which was a polar cap event, which is basically where you get the ionosphere, the electricity of the outer shell of the atmosphere starts really getting charged up, and then that sort of like converts the high energy frequencies into low frequencies, And it's a transition of electricity, as it were, magnetic field through, or the electromagnetic field system through the earth, and introducing into the earth. Therefore, it will eventually get introduced to us through our chakras and our aura, basically. And then, so your chakras and your aura also contribute to your emotional state of being, along with and in combination with your body. So as your body's ingesting this vibration as well, it may cause complications for you. At the moment, I think it's going to be digestive sort of system that's going to be playing up in the beginning part of this week. It may make a bit of the liver burning a little bit, so cooling that down will be quite good for your good selves. Also, for any sort of people with skin allergies, they will come to the surface, I would have thought, sort of Wednesday or Thursday. Anyone with eczema and stuff like that, that's probably going to come to the surface around that moment. Obviously, there's complications with anyone with cardio sort of situations with heart problems. They can also play into it. So it's as we take off, which is a very nervous moment as we move into cruise altitude in the solar maximum, the cycle, the maximum part of the solar cycle, and that's going to last about 18 months. But as I say, once you get up to cruise mode, you don't really notice that so much, the being buffeted by the taking off, as it were, unless you hit a bit of turbulence, and that can happen with the sun during any cycle, be it low or high. So it's understanding that you're in this sort of wave, this conscious and continuous wave of energy that comes through like waves on a beach. Once you realize that, you can adjust yourself and position yourself accordingly, so you're less I don't want to say in danger, because that's not what it is really, but you don't lose control of your energies, basically. That's the best way to describe it. So that's what's going to be playing through. So as we get back to the D layer of the ionosphere, so basically it's the much higher levels of the atmosphere, the ionospheric section of it, and it's highly electrically charged, and that couples between the surface and in the interior of the earth. It's all connected together through fuse layers, as it were, and sometimes it can blow a fuse, and that causes, say, like electrical storms and stuff like that. Now, you can get electrical storms that come from the ground to the sky. It goes both ways, and as we get into this whole pole shift thing, that's going to become more and more frequent, of direct, straight-lined lightning, in a way, where it connects those ionosphere as it comes further down and connects to the earth. If you imagine it on a human scale, so your body, you have your different chakras and etc. You have your crown chakra. If your crown chakra was sort of activating to an extent where it actually went out and then came down and gradually met up with your root chakra as it's coming up towards you, that's going to encase you. It's going to like a cooker pressure, like one of those saucepans, a cooker pressure thing, and it's gonna blow off steam eventually. And usually we blow off steam against ourselves. We do exactly the same thing as what the earth does. It starts doing electrical storms that go between ourselves, and this is where the anxiety can cause us problems, where we can be sort of almost depressive and almost negative towards our own good selves. And that's not a good thing to do. But once we can recognize that actually this is just an intake of energy, that's the majority of the things we don't need to get annoyed with ourselves about, then we can recognize what we should actually be annoyed with within ourselves. So we're not actually trying to work on things that we don't really need to work on. So this is this whole sort of thing. So if you let it flow through your system, you're going to have a lot less of a problem with your emotions, and then also with your physical body. This is all the new paradigm health, basically, and how we deal with ourselves on a completely different level. Okay, so that's the energy that's been flowing through. I have just doused this thing and followed it all the way back up to the church, which sort of like, if you imagine, it goes through, hang on a second, no, that way, it goes through there like that, and then hangs up and turns up that way there. So I'm actually sitting on the line now, the same line which I normally sit on. But this is a lovely little sort of like park sort of eating area. There's no one about at the moment. We are on Sunday night. But this is the beautiful centre of Dax. So there you go. Let's just connect to that energy and let's just see what that's been going on with that at the moment. Okay, so just relax the body. Okay, that's the induction, that's going out there. So there is still crown and root going on. There's a lot less than it was. And there's the throat that's having, it was a lot clearer last time, but it's now having a few, it's difficult, it's a bit heavy, the throat. Third eye, very light indeed, comes back down to the plexus solis, but the solar plexus is really pulled in. It's back up to the throat again. Third eye this time really heavy rather than the throat. So it's coming out the back end of that now. And there's the sacrum playing in. Very precise. Very almost like surgical. And there's the heart, which is poignant. Best way to describe it. And then we go back to the main sort of system. And then we go back to the, and then we're back into the flow. Let me just check out. Okay, so what I'm getting from the earth there, and we go back to that plane module, it's saying prepare, 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 prepare. Now I've been noticing my cards when I've been pulling the cards that something seems to be coming up in Taurus season, and I'm going to be doing a reading with Tanya about this that you'll see on Astroflower. So if you go down into the description below, you'll find a link to the Astroflower channel. And it's sort of saying prepare, prepare, and I was sort of saying, you know, is it, you know, the world going to blow up? And it's not that sort of preparation. There's a definite, it's almost like the line that I said earlier on, where it sort of comes down and then it does a hook right. It does a real sort of bend, and it's a little bit like that, as if like something's coming down the line that's going to affect all levels of creation, where it's going to turn a corner. That's what it seems to be like. So what it's sort of saying here is go within. I would have a bit of a hermit moment. So I would, you know, almost pull yourself out a little bit of society and go within and just see where things sit beautifully with you. How you sit with the world around you. Just take time out to really observe that at the moment before we move into the Taurus and the transition sort of season. It's all about from where you start from. That's the thing. If you start from a weak position, it's like when you calculate when those waves are coming in onto the beach. If you start from a position where you're out of breath, it's going to be difficult to hold your breath to go under the next wave. So it's just, that's what I'm saying about preparing. It's just making yourself ready that things are about to change. What is about to change? Well, this is it. If you knew, it might cause more problems than if you don't know. And also for the fact that if you've got to prepare, just do the work. Don't try and get around it. Don't try and get out of it. You know, that sort of thing. So, yeah. I've got a lot more videos on the new paradigm. I'm doing one on how solar systems are created and stuff like that, and how it interlinks with human energies and stuff like that, and the pole shift and everything like that. So if you've liked this, don't forget, you've got to subscribe and click the bell so you get some more notifications on this and see how it's flowing with you. It'd be very nice to hear how things are happening with you, because I've only one key to one door. We have, each of us, a key to every single door, and we can understand everything if we decide to do this together. Once we decide to learn it and explore it together, we will go, evolutionary step will be expansion. It will be, what's it called? When it's, yeah, you know what I mean. Extent, yeah, you know what I mean. You find out what it is. Gee, I can't even speak anymore. Terrible. Anyway, hope you did enjoy that. Don't forget, life should be fun, so please do enjoy. Don't believe, just know. Cymatic TV, turning vibration into reality.